Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again, coming at you with the next installment in Alan Moore's post-apocalyptic take on the Cross franchise. And if you missed the previous two videos I did covering this book, then you can check it out in my Cross playlist. Link for it's popping up right now, and over there you can check out all the videos I've done concerning the Cross franchise. So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into Issue 3 of Cross Plus 100. We open on our run crew and their rig headed back for Chuga, passing people in hazmat suits repairing railroad tracks and bone-blocked roadways overflowing with skeletons. And in the distance, moving towards Chuga, they can see a hot air balloon from the Gapple Island settlement. Archivist Future Taylor once again writes in her journal. July 17th, 2108. Oh fuck. Couldn't write yesterday. Couldn't skull. I'm still fuck disconnected now we're approaching Chuga. 1838, Chuga was still Ross's Landing where Road Street is now. They kept red agulations here before making them walk to Oklahoma. Trail of Tears called it. So maybe that was the most fucked shamed up run Chuga ever seen, and not mine. More later. Back home in Chuga, Taylor meets up with her mother and heads back to her house for dinner. Afterwards, her mom takes off to George's, who she's begun a relationship with since Taylor's father has passed. Later, Taylor goes over some of the footage they discovered on their trip and finds a video of an infected being forced to watch other infecteds murder regular people. But the infected who's watching, he's not laughing or jeering. Not at first. He seems almost composed. But eventually he breaks, and as soon as he does, his head is chopped off with a machete. Then a female infected is brought in to replace him, and it all starts all over again. It seems like some kind of test, and it seems like it was filmed a long time after the original outbreak. Taylor can't sleep, so she goes to the hills overlooking the settlement and reads from her fiction encyclopedia. Reads about Robert Heinlein and his work Glory Road. The next day at the settlement meeting, after a few updates, the settlers are filled in on what was discovered on the archiving run, about the multiple groups of infected with young and their strange behavior almost seeming organized. Based on this, it is decided they need to send out an expedition to mop whatever small group of infected might be out there waiting to surprise them. But in order to do this, they will need more resources, so they decide to send a group to the closest settlement, Murfreesboro, to see if they are willing to assist. Yeah, that's fine. The next day, they head out from Murfreesboro via steamboat. The crew consists of Taylor, Greer, Cautious, and Keller, along with the new additions of Addison and Wales. They move down the river, passing busted dams and nuclear power plants that melted down during the surprise, poisoning the land around them. They suit up in hazmat suits and pass through the first radiated zone. After unsuiting, Cautious sees something against the shoreline. A boat wreckage. Upon investigation, they find many remains, some young, some of old, and some that are bound with chains. Among them, one who seems to have been the head of the boat wears clothes made of leather, and a necklace, the pendant of which is made from someone's asshole, and inserted inside of it is a glass vial filled with salt. Back aboard the steamer, they discuss their finds and what it could mean, but it only leads to more questions. Greer advises them to suit back up as they're nearing the next nuclear fallout site. They suit up, and about dark, they pass Brown's Ferry, where the heat and fallout sculpted sand into luminous glass mountains. Archivist Taylor's journal. July 19th, 2108. Oh fuck. We're tight end just up Elk River now. I've been sculling how do people know Glory Roads from Trail of Tears? Are they two different things even? Opsy the Gapple balloon earlier running for Arkansas maybe. Hope they make it. It's dark, and they look so precious. More later. And that is where this issue leaves us off. The writing for issue 3 gives us a brief reprieve from the horror set pieces of the previous two issues in order to focus more on further development of the world and the character of Taylor, as well as coalescing the themes of this volume. For the first time in the series, we get to see how the larger civilization of Chuga operates, along with establishing their connection to at least two other human settlements. but also shows how disconnected they are from the statements that Taylor makes about barely being able to understand the settlers who flew in on their balloon from the Apple Islands. Use of reference to literature as a way of exploring the themes of the story continues with the introduction of Robert Heinlein and Glory Road. Previously, we saw Lord of the Rings used to establish what was seen by Taylor as an antiquated sense of good and evil, whereas here Glory Road gives her cause to second-guess her perceptions and wonder if good and evil are ever quite so easy to perceive outside of the wills and desires of those committing the acts in question. We also see the geographical and historical elements that Alan Moore has chosen to use starting to become more prominent. With the geography of the area of Chuga tied into the Trail of Tears, this combined with the use of Glory Road creates a very clear thematic connection and begins to shift our perceptions as well as Taylor's of the story that we're seeing unfold. Despite the fact that the Cross only appear in video in this particular issue, through the development of the world around the characters, we begin to see more and more external threats they come up against in the form of radioactive fallout from multiple sites along their river expedition, which again combined with the wolf attack from the previous issue, shows us that even without the Cross, survival in this world is not easy and certainly not guaranteed. While this issue might not be as exciting or seemingly as engrossing as the previous two, it's still extremely well written and lays down the groundwork for things yet to come in the climax of this volume and beyond. As for the artwork in this issue, everything I mentioned in the previous two reviews still holds true. The depiction of the ruined landscape is still excellent. The rendering of the settlement of Chuka informs us as much about the world inside of its walls as the rendering of the landscapes and abandoned cities did of them. The characters still rendered fantastically with anatomy, body language, and models on point. This time, however, we get introduced to quite a few more characters than we've seen so far in this book, and they all manage to feel distinct, like individuals who are easily recognizable from one another. Once again, all in all, the art brings it home for a win. So there you have it, children of the screen, my thoughts on this particular issue. Now, once again, as I have said previously, there are quite a few things that I am leaving out of the kind of streamlined narration plot summary of these books for multiple reasons, namely because those of you who've already read the book, you already know that it's there, and for those of you who haven't read the book, I still want to leave you something to explore and discover for yourself when you go and check it out, which I highly recommend that you do. Anyway, thank you very much, children of the screen. I really enjoyed this issue, and I really enjoyed sharing it with you. But let me know what you thought down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please leave a like and share it with some friends. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, so you can check out all the dope cross content I'll have coming out in the future. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you all have a good one. Nerds come.